Yo, what's up guys, it is Seahawks area back with another video, and today I'm giving you my top 5 NFL Linsanity Runs. Linsanity Run is pretty much when a player just comes out of absolute nowhere and just dominates for a game, a week, a month, a year, but really after that time, they just go back to like being silent, like nothing ever happened. So enjoy the video, and as always, go Hawks. Alright, to kick things off with number 5, this guy helped people win fantasy championships in 2021. We got former Seahawks running back Rashad Penny. Penny was drafted in the first round in 2018. Massive reach by the Seahawks. Now, the thing with Penny is, this guy, along with like every other Seahawks running back since Lynch, could not stop getting injured. It was on and off for 3 years until the back end of 2021. The Seahawks at one point were running with Alex Collins, rest in peace. They signed Adrian Peterson, who played a game and scored a touchdown, and we also had Travis Homer. We also had Penny, but just like I said, injuries, and he was just not that productive. But after the Niners game, when we went to go face Houston, out of absolute nowhere, Rashad Penny went nuclear. Over 160 rushing yards, I think, had 2 big touchdowns, helped us blow out the Texans. The next week against the Rams, he sucked. And then the following weeks after that, for the rest of the year, destroyed the Lions, decimated the Cardinals. Himself, Rashad Penny himself, he said Adrian Peterson has been coaching him to pretty much, be like this. Coming off a fresh torn ACL, practically, because he didn't really play much after his recovery, and just all it really took was Adrian Peterson having to coach him up a little. And then we re-signed him in 2022 in the offseason. Then he had another season-ending injury against the Saints. Kenneth Walker took over, never looked back. Penny went to the Eagles, did nothing, went to the Panthers, did nothing, and then retired. So, Rashad Penny, I will never forget you in 2021, helping my dad win a fantasy championship, because I told him to pick you up. Next up, this one is fairly recent. We got the Pastronaut for the Vikings, Joshua Dobbs. That 3-game stint where he looked like one of the best quarterbacks in football. He started his season on the Cardinals in 2023. Didn't do the best, didn't do the worst. Kirk Cousins tears his Achilles against the Green Bay Packers. So the Vikings are scrambling to find a new quarterback because they didn't trust Jaron Hall. They didn't trust Nick Mullins. They both are absolute terrible. So they call up the Cardinals and get the Pastronaut himself, because Kyler Murray was coming back anyway in like a week or two after. So, not even like 48 hours later. No, he's already suiting up for the Vikings, but he's not the starter, because Jaron Hall, he's the starter against the Saints. He gets a concussion. Joshua Dobbs comes in and goes 20 for 30 with, I'm pretty sure, 2 touchdowns, and helped beat the Saints. He was making crazy throws left and right. He was scrambling like a madman. Next week, pretty sure it was their loss to the Broncos or something like that. Or no, it was the Falcons. He threw another touchdown, almost 300 yards. They won. And then the next week, they lose to Denver. Chris Collinsworth, being the Glazer he is, compared him to Patrick Mahomes or Russell Wilson or something like that. They lost that game. Josh Dobbs, I'm pretty sure, had to leave that game due to an injury anyway, because Kareem Jackson. And then here's where it starts falling. Here's where the dominoes fall. Monday night against the Bears, he throws 4 interceptions. They lose. Then the next week is that horrible Raiders game where they won 3-0. He didn't even crack 70 passing yards. Then he gets benched for the rest of the year. And then now he's been on the Niners, and now I think he's on the Patriots. So that 3-game stint where he gave Vikings fans hope probably will never be forgotten. Next up, this is always sad to talk about, but it's James Robinson. The story about James Robinson. Oh boy, don't I miss that guy. Undrafted in 2020, won the starting job in Jacksonville because people kept getting injured, and I think that's when they cut Leonard Fournette. He runs for 1,000 yards, wins people fantasy championships for the crappy Jaguars. He was the only thing people liked about the Jags that year. And then they hire Urban Meyer. He drafts Travis Etienne in the first round, but he's injured for his rookie year, so James Robinson gets the starting gig once again. Has almost 800 yards before he tore his Achilles, ACL, whatever it was, against the Jacks on a non-contact play. Urban Meyer hated him anyway. Like he kept just trying to do everything to not use him. It stupid. But then Etienne, he's healthy in 2022. Him and Etienne and James, they split the carry until Breece Hall goes down with the Jets. So immediately James is traded to the Jets, and the Jets barely use him. They drop him. Then he went to the Packers. They dropped him. And then the Giants and the Patriots and the Saints. And we haven't really seen him since. The downfall, like that. An injury that ruined a man's career, and Urban Meyer just ruining it because he's a piece of shit. Second to last one, I'm sure Eagles fans remember this guy, the 5-game stint of Travis Fulgham in 2020. It all started against the San Francisco 49ers, but wow. Touchdown in like 3 straight games, 5 straight games with at least 50 yards, a game with like over 150, and then like 3 straight with 70. It was crazy. And then legit, after the 5-game stint, the highest he had in a game was like 30 for the rest of the year. Like, complete fall off after a month of just domination and COVID season. The COVID season was the year for the most random dudes to ever go off, I swear. But this dude, 6th-round pick to the Lions in 2019. I don't know what happened with them, but he was on the Eagles in 2020 and then had greatest month of football for him ever. And then went to the Broncos the year after, and then the Packers. He hasn't had any updates since about 2020, I'm pretty sure. I'm sure Eagles fans, a few of them out there, legit have a jersey for him. This guy won people weeks of fantasy games, and then just fell off a steep cliff, and then just disintegrated into the world of football. But Travis Fulgham, for that 5-game stretch, you were elite. Eagles fans will probably never forget about that. Before I get to number 1, if you did enjoy this and you want a part 2, let me know in the comments, because there's a lot of Linsanity runs in the NFL, and I only went over 5 today, so comment part 2 or something. But now, the number 1 Linsanity run that made me want to make this video. Former Seattle Seahawks quarterback Geno Smith. Probably one of the biggest definitions of a Linsanity run. Geno, drafted in 2013 draft in the 2nd round by the Jets. Looked promising for a bit, but then he was garbage ass. Dookie horrible. Literally any bad thing you can say Geno Smith was. And then he went to the Chargers to back up Phillip Rivers, then the Giants to back up Eli Manning, and then the Seahawks to back up Russell Wilson. He was with Seattle from 2019 to 2024, and then we traded him. But he got some playing time in 2021 because Russell Wilson got mallet finger thanks to Aaron Donald. Didn't look the greatest. I did go to the game where he torched the Jaguars and threw 1 incompletion that whole game. That was beautiful. But then, March 8th, 2022, we trade Russell Wilson away for a lot and then some. We re-signed Geno. He competes with Drew Lock for the starting gig in 2022. Geno wins and then shocks the world and beats Russell Wilson and the Denver Broncos and has the iconic line They wrote me off. I ain't right back, though. And then the very next week, we stunk it up against the Niners. But throughout the whole season, like, Geno, it's kind of hard to explain. Like, he wasn't elite. He was very quality and good. And then he won Comeback Player of the Year. People are head-scratching about that, being like, what did he come back from? Came back from the bench. Then we gave him a big old contract extension, like 3 years, $100-something million. I loved it. But then, kind of took off the brakes in 2023. Started being Geno Smith. But then, in 2024, he led the league in passing for a long time. And then also started being the reason we lost some games. Like throwing up a 102-yard pick six to Cameron Kinchins against the Rams. That was stupid. But then we ship him off to the Raiders. Because he clearly wanted an extra $5 million a year. But, yeah, that 2022 season from Geno Smith. Absolute legendary Linsanity run. Well, anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please like, comment, and subscribe. And turn the notification bell on so you'll never miss an upload. I will see you in the next video. Go Hawks!